Okay, so welcome to the session. As ever, you're looking to work at around about a level 4 out of 10 so that you can feel your breathing, you can feel that your heart's going a little bit faster, you're getting a little bit warmer, but you can still speak in full sentences. Stop if you're feeling unwell or if you're feeling any pain. And I think everybody who's here virtually has done a PARQ. If you're watching after the event and you haven't done a PARQ, get in touch and I'll be able to check that there are no considerations for you. Okay, make sure you've got your water and your chair and we will get going. So we'll start with mobilisation, feet together. So bring your toes out to 45 degrees and heels out to join them. Try and stand up as tall as you can, so if it's as if you have a piece of string starting at the pubic bone and it's coming all the way through, pulling you up to the ceiling. So you're just lengthening the spine and lengthening the neck. So we're going to start with some neck rotations, so take a breath in and as you breathe out, turn your head to the right. Breathe back into the middle, try and keep the shoulders low. And breathe out to the left. Back into the middle and over to the right. Back to the middle and to the left. Back to the middle and chin tucked down onto your chest just to stretch the back of the neck. Breathe in, look straight ahead and then just tip your head back, look up to the ceiling. And back to the centre. So we'll go for those shoulder circles forwards. You're making them as big as you can. And then we're changing direction. And then try and slide your shoulder blades down your back. So again, you've got a long neck. So we're going to float the arms forwards to shoulder height, and then we're going to circle them around. So we're starting with small circles. And then as you get going, those circles can just get bigger and bigger. So when you get to full range, you should find that you've got one arm going forwards and one arm going backwards. But don't think about it too much because then it just causes brain melt, or it does with me. And then change direction. Again, don't think about it too much, just give it a go. Again, you've got one going forward, one going back. And we're just going to reduce that range of movement. Arms are now in front of you, getting smaller and smaller. And bring the right arm out to the side, take the left arm down. Turn the palm over on that right hand, and then reach up to the ceiling. Take the head away and just bring the arm into the ear. So changing sides, bring the left arm out to the side and turn the palm to the ceiling. Tilt the head away from it, then reach up to the ceiling. From that stretched position, just bring the arm across a little bit towards the ear. We'll do one more on each side. Stretching up, arm into the ear. And last one. Okay, now bring the arms forwards as if you're holding a big beach ball. I'm just going to rotate side to side. Just allow your hips to go with the shoulders. And just keep a slight bend in the knee so you're not twisting the knee. And then when you come back to the middle, you can bring your arms back down to your sides or hands on hips, however is comfortable. So we're going to warm up sort of the hip area, and I call this one round the clock. So you're going to point the toes forwards, slide out to the side, slide backwards and bring that leg through. So we're going to try that on the other side as well. Toes pointing forwards, sliding around in a big semicircle and bring it through. So try and keep the toes as pointed as you can, the leg as straight as you can. And then we're going to reverse direction, so taking the foot behind, again toes pointed, and bringing it forwards. Now if your balance is quite good, you can do that just keeping the toes off the floor, if you choose to. Last one. And then we'll just tread grapes, loosen off the ankles. So from that treading grapes, we're just going to come up into a bit of a march, starting the warm up. We've got a few different exercises in various bits today, so we'll see how they go. So we're going to come into swing and sway as the first bit of the warm up. Again, you can bend the knees as much or as little as you want. And again, vary the arm position. So you can just come low or you can take it up high. And then after this one, we're coming back into our march. The knees can come a little bit higher, elbows back a little bit further if you want. And then we're coming into spotty dog. I'll turn sideways just to remind you. Opposite arm and leg. Leg taps forwards, opposite arm, leg taps back, opposite arm comes forwards. Again, you can just come to shoulder height. That's good. And back to marching. So next one we're going to use just to wake up the quads. We're going to do some heel kicks. So slightly wider stance, and then you're bringing the heel up towards the bottom. And you can add in a pull back. Don't worry about coordination of what's happening when. As you can tell, I'm not. And back to marching. And then stretching out the calves, we're going to do heel digs. So foot forward, just bringing the toes, putting the heel on the floor, toes raised. And then we're going to push forwards with the arms. So try and stretch forward so you just feel you're getting that loosening across the back. And back to marching. I might be a bit more vigorous than usual because it's quite chilly in here. But you don't need so much what I'm doing. You might be going faster than me. And then we're coming into half jacks. Last two, and then last lot of marching. We're going to come into the circuit after this, so if you need to grab a drink, just go and get a drink, get yourself settled. And then if we're okay, we will start our circuit. So we're going to do 60 seconds again, but it is very much an up to 60 seconds. So if you need to stop, and start, just do what's right for you today. Okay, and off we go. So you're just coming into a march, or it could be a gentle jog. Twice I'll give you the opportunity to do fast feet for 5 seconds. Once at 25 seconds and once at 55 seconds. And fast feet. And back to marching. Five seconds till fast feet. And off we go for those that want to. And resting there. Okay. So for the next one, we're going to combine our upper and lower body exercises. So we're going to do a split squat pulse for the lower body. So it's been holding that down position and pulsing, but we're going to combine it with a bicep curl with either band or weights. I'll use band because the weights one's fairly obvious how to do it. So if you're doing the band, just have it under your front foot, have your feet hip width apart, elbows tucked into your waist, and off we go. So you're holding that knees slightly bent position, making sure the legs are loaded. We've done 15 seconds. So keep the body up nice and upright. And if you're using a band, change legs. Well, change legs anyway, but kind of need a bit more time to if you're using a band. Fifteen seconds to go. Last one, and rest it there. Okay, so the next cardio exercise is a new one, an adaptation of the half jack. So I'll show you first. We're going to call it tap and reach. So you're tapping out to one side. That same side arm reaches across the body. Okay? 60 seconds, 3, 2, 1, let's go. That's good. Again, don't worry too much about coordination. As long as you've got one arm moving, one leg moving, it's all good. Nice. Fifteen seconds to go. And stopping there. Okay, so our lower body exercise, we're going to do the RDL with the chair today. Well, I say the chair, you can also use the wall for balance if you need. So you have your support Bringing one knee up, taking it back, either coming into a flat position if you've got good flexibility, good balance, or you're just taking it back to here so you can feel that supporting leg working. I'll tell you when we're at 30 seconds and you can change legs. Good. Just take it nice and gently. So this one, it's all about maintaining the muscles under tension rather than speed. And changing legs. And stop there. Okay. So our next upper body exercise is for the back. It's easiest to show you how to get into position using the chair. So effectively you're standing, your feet hip width apart, just leaning forward slightly. But then from that position, you're bringing the arms out wide. So it's as if you've got wings and the wings are coming out to the side. If you have light weights, you can do it with weights. I'm talking probably half a kilo to a kilo. If there are any more, I wouldn't for this first one. And off we go. Or you could start, but don't worry if you have to put them down. So at the top of the move, we're looking to get a good squeeze between the shoulder blades. Make sure you've got that slightly leaning forward position. Good. Lovely. We're halfway through. Good work. 15 seconds to go. Last 5. Brilliant. And just give the arms a little bit of a shake. So we're coming into skiing next. Might be appropriate if the snow continues. And 3, 2, 1, off you go. So arms up, powering down the slope. I love it. There's a lot of really good power there, I can see. Halfway through. Last 15. And stopping there. Grab a drink if you need one. We're coming into sit to stand for our lower body exercise. So you can do a squat if you prefer. This one is actually really good for that control of getting down into the seat slowly. Make sure that you have actually got the chair behind you. And off we go. So sitting down as controlled as you can. Just push your hips forwards a little bit at the top of the move. We've done 15 seconds. 15 to go. And resting there. So you can stay seated. I'm going to do a rowing movement, which also works the back, but a little bit further down. If you have weights, side on. From here, you're just holding them and you're pulling the elbows back. If you have a band, put it around your feet. Hold with the thumb on top, and again, same move, elbows coming back. I'll sit side on for this so you can just see what I'm doing, and off we go. So keep your body up as tall as you can. Elbows are just coming back. Good. And you're trying to keep the shoulders low as the elbows come back. Perfect. And we're halfway through. Fifteen seconds to go. And resting it there. So back to cardio. You can either do a squatty dog, so as you're familiar with that, you can do that, or you can do a tap back and a knee raise, which would be tap back and then clap the opposite knee. So with the reach. So it just depends whether you want the variation or not. Off we go. Good work. Halfway through, so if you're doing the new one, change legs. My own coordination went there. Great work. And resting there. Okay. So we're then on to a core exercise on the wall. We did for the first time last week. So hands on the wall, at shoulder width apart, shoulder height. And then you're bringing one knee up, just trying to get a contraction. So imagine that your abdominals are a concertina and you're just trying to squeeze that concertina. 3, 2, 1, go. Fifteen gone. Fifteen to go. and resting there. So while we're on the wall, we'll stay there for press-ups, but we'll do sets of 5. So first 5, hands are in normal place, as wide as you want, but shoulder width. Second 5, have them offset. Third 5, have them offset again, and just rotate between those 5 each, okay? You find they use the weight slightly differently. And then just keeping a straight line, into the wall, so you're doing it on the wall. So you probably want to be, that's it. And just make sure you've got a straight line all the way through the body. So keep your tummy pulled in. So it's your chest that you're bringing to the wall. Good. You're just over halfway. "15 seconds to go. And stopping there. So we're into skater. So this is like a curtsy, take one leg behind. You can either just do the legs, so you can just do that, or you can just bring that arm down to the knee, take the other arm behind you as if you're a speed skater. Okay, 3, 2, 1, off we go. But don't worry too much about the arms. If you just get that leg going across, you're working the glutes. It's almost like a curtsy as well. Good. So try and bring it past the other leg rather than just behind. Good, lovely. About 15 seconds to go. And resting there. We're going to do some heel raises now. We're going to work through the calves. Again, we're going to do them in sets of 5. If you have got something to support yourself on, either a chair or a wall, it means you can work a little bit harder. The first set of 5, we're going to keep the feet in parallel. Second set, we're going to bring the heels together, and you're trying to keep the legs in contact, so make sure there's no gapping down the length of the leg. Third lot of 5, single leg, you can keep the toes down, and then obviously changing. Okay, so feet in parallel, off we go, heel raises. Next one, bring the heels together, try and keep the legs squeezed together so you're contracting down the whole length of those legs as you lift the heels up. Single leg, so either just keep one foot there for support, and so you're not taking the full weight, or if you can, take it off the floor. Quite tough, this one. Changing legs. We've got 5 seconds to go. Perfect, and stop there. Okay, triceps extension next. Show you with the weight first. So you're starting with the elbow out behind, so you can see I've got that triangle out here. I'm keeping the upper arm where it is, and I'm just squeezing that straight arm. So you should feel it in the back of the arm. If you have your band, same principle. You're starting with that triangle and extending out. You might need to hold a little bit lower. Okay, off we go. So the main thing to get the tricep activated is to make sure the upper arm doesn't move. You're just extending out from the elbow. Good. If you try and squeeze this at the top, you should really feel it in the back of the arm. Changing arms if you're doing single arm. Keep going if you're doing double. And stopping there. Okay, so we're on to our last cardio part, which will come back to marching with fast feet. I'm going to tell you fast feet with 10 seconds to go twice. You don't have to do it, or you can choose to leave it for a bit and then join in, but just in case you wanted to. Okay, off we go. So you have two options of 10 seconds fast feet. Fast feet if you want to. 3, 2, 1, back to marching. I'm on a squeaky bit of floorboard, sorry about that. 10 seconds, fast feet. And resting there. Really good work. Okay, just grab yourselves a drink, loosen everything off. We'll come on to the core and balance elements. Okay, so sitting on the chair, you're on your front third of the chair. Feet hip width apart, so you can either start with them together, bring the toes out and heels out, or just approximate. Sitting up as tall as you can, and then just bringing the elbows forwards onto the knees, so you're in that forward leaning position. Keep your head in line with the spine, so you're looking at a spot probably about 6 feet in front of you. Just relaxing, and throughout all these you want to make sure the glutes stay relaxed, so you're not tensing, which would then cause you to lift up in the chair, which is a way of knowing whether you're relaxed. So we'll start with the pelvic floor, slow twitch pelvic floor. So pull up through the back passage as if you're trying to stop wind, and then transfer your focus forwards. You're bringing it round to the front as if you're trying to stop the flow of wee. So just pull up, hold it there. And loosen off. So we're going to try and hold it for 3 breaths each time for say 5. But just breathe nice and slowly, nice and deeply. So again, pulling up. Bring it round to the front, pulling up, and 3 nice deep breaths. and relax. Okay, same again, number 3. Just get your contraction, pulling up, squeezing in, making sure the glutes are relaxed, and deep breaths. Relax. Okay, 2 to go. Pulling up, finding the contraction, and breathing. Easing off. And we'll do the last one. So these are, we've been holding them longer than we have in previous weeks. So well done if you're doing that. So last one, pulling up. And relax. Okay, so we'll come on to the fast twitch muscles. You're going to do straight away. And that's very much a pull in and release. Pull in and release. So we're going to go for 10, but I'll let you do those in your own time. I'll do 10 as well, but just work in your own time. Okay, off we go. Remember to keep breathing. Good work. Okay, that's 10 for me. So we'll come on to some seated curls from this same forward sitting position. On the front third of your chair, feet still hip width apart, arms over your chest, back straight, chin down. And we're leaning back. Touching the chair if you can, but don't worry if you can't. Squeezing the abs to come up straight. This is a really good way of doing sit-ups without putting any pressure on the neck and without putting any pressure on the spine. Let's go for an extra 2. And relax there. Next what we're going to do, either hands to the ears or shoulders across the chest. I'm going to bring my hands to my ears, but you can choose which way. Initially, we're just going to come across side to side. So it's not a big movement, it's just off center. And this is working the obliques in the side of the waist. If you want to make it a bit harder, as you're coming across, lift one knee up. So your aim isn't to get the elbow to the knee, it's just to reduce your balance, so you've got to work harder at staying balanced. Another 2 if you can. Brilliant. And then we're back up to standing. So first one we'll do is the incline plank, which you can do against a wall, or if your chair is in a safe position, it's not going to slide back, you can do it on your chair. So hands on your support, whether that be your wall or your chair. Take your feet back, make sure the tummy is pulled in, take the second foot back. So you don't want your bottom sticking up too much, but you definitely don't want the hips to be sinking to the floor. So just keep the tummy pulled up there, squeezing the abdominals. Keep breathing. And bringing first foot back in, second foot back in, and standing up. Okay. So next one we haven't done before, and it's for the hip area, specifically sort of the adductor area, the groin area. So if you find you're a little bit tight there, just make sure that you don't push it too much. It's based on a yoga exercise, so it's warrior pose, but we're just initiating that movement. So take a wider stance, feet wider than hip width, toes tight, slightly turned out. Now think about your pelvis. If I show you side on, you don't want to be sticking with your bottom out, but neither do you want to be pushing the hips forward. So just kind of tuck the bottom in and then tuck the belly button in so that you're in that neutral spine position. And you want to try and maintain that position throughout. So again, little tummy squeeze like we did. Now lift the toes of the right foot off the floor and try and, keeping the hips forward, try and rotate the leg so that those toes go out to 90 degrees and place the foot back down. If you manage to get to 90 degrees, you can also then just do a little bit of a stretch to stretch this inner thigh. Push back up, lift the toes up, bring them back round. So we'll do the same on the other side. Lift the toes on the left foot. Try and turn without the hips moving. So you're just turning the leg out 90 degrees, toes back down, stretching out this inner thigh. Push back up, toes up, back in. So we're going to do a couple on each side. So lift up, hips facing forward, neutral spine, toes turn to the side, put them down. Back up, rotate back and down, and lift up. Keep the hips forwards, turn the toes out, down, and back. We'll do one more on each side. Toes up, hips forwards, the legs rotating. Last one. And then just walk the feet back under the hips and give them a little bit of a treading grapes march. Okay, so we're going to work the outside of the hips now with a pendulum. Then just get your support, which could be a chair, could be a wall. We're going to stay on one side this time rather than alternating. So we're going to see if we can get to 10 on one side and then 10 on the other. So imagine a piece of string pulling you up to the ceiling. You're going to try and stay standing up as tall as you can, just bringing one foot out. So this is one where you do keep the toes pulled up, you don't have a pointed foot. Two more. And then changing sides. And again, just loosen up. Okay, so we're going to do tandem stance. Bringing your right foot in front of your left foot, heel touching the rear toe. Hold on if you need just to get your balance. Now you're all getting really good at this now. Bring the arms out to the sides. Breath in, and then breathe out, just turn off centre. Breathe in, come back to the centre, and breathe out off centre the other way. And back to the middle. Arms down, changing the legs over. Again, make sure that the heel is tucked into the toes of the rear foot. So get your balance in that position first of all. When you've got it, bring the arms out to the sides. And when you've got that, next breath out, just turning off centre. Oops. Breathing back into the middle. And out to the other side. And back to the middle. Arms down. And just give everything a good shake. Okay, so we'll just do a stretch. So just grab another drink if you need to before we come into the stretch. So we will start with quads actually. We don't normally stretch out the quads because not everybody can get into stretch position, but I'll show you an alternative. So if you can, take the top of your laces in your same side hand and push the hips forwards. You're trying to keep the knee pointing down to the floor and you should feel that stretch down there. If that's just not a comfortable position to be in, you can come into that split squat position, but just push that hip forward. So you're just tilting the pelvis to get the stretch down there. It's not quite as good, but you certainly feel it in the hip flexor. And changing sides. So either holding the top of your foot in the same side hand, or split squat position, but that hip just pushed forwards a little so that you're feeling it down the front of the thigh. Okay, and relax. So we'll come into calves. We did quite a lot of work on the calves. So take your right foot back. Again, you're in feet on train tracks rather than tightrope. Push that back heel down into the floor, allowing your front knee to bend. So effectively, if you look from my heel, I'm in a straight line to the top of my head, but it's a forward-leaning one. Really push the heel into the floor to feel that stretch. And we'll change over. So keep the heel off the floor to start with, and then as you're pushing it down into the floor, keeping that back leg straight, just let the front knee bend. And release. So hamstrings, feet hip width apart. Now you can use the back of your chair, but you don't have to. I'll show you with the back of your chair though. So feet about 18 inches maybe from the chair, and then you're bending the elbow, pushing the hips backwards, so you're pushing to the wall behind you, just having your chest come down parallel to the floor. Now you can equally do it with your hands on your hips. So if you feel that you're fairly steady, you can keep your hands on your hips, push your hips backwards, And just bring the chest down towards the floor. You should feel that stretch in the back of the legs. Standing back up, we'll do that one more time because that's quite often a tight area. So big breath in and then breathe out to come into position, pushing the hips back, keeping the legs straight, chest parallel to the floor or far enough that you can feel it. Nice normal breaths now. And then come back up to standing. Come onto the shoulders, bring the right arm forwards, then bring it across the body. Left hand just either above or below the elbow joint, and pull the arm in a little bit closer to the body. For an additional stretch, push this hand back into the supporting arm. And change sides, so arm forward, across the body, pull it in, push back if you want the extra. And then bring the arms down to your sides. We'll just do a little bit of a strengthener for these postural muscles. Rotate and squeeze the shoulder blades together. So you're keeping the shoulders low and release. Again, breathe out. And then bring the arms forwards, elbows wide, just overlap the fingers. Drop your chin onto your chest and breathe out, push the back of the hands away from you. And then stretch across the chest, so bring the hands onto the small of your back or fingers interlinked for a bigger stretch. Squeeze the elbows together. And then right arm, I'm coming onto my knees so you can see. Bring it down to the nape of the neck and into a triceps stretch. And changing that over, so arm up to the ceiling, bend at the elbow, hand to the nape of the neck, and then just support that with the other hand, pushing down on the forearm to increase the stretch if you need. And arms back down by your sides. Okay, start with your shoulders nice and low, and then pull them up to your ears, hold them there, and push all the way back down. Breathe in, pull up, and push down. On the next one, we're just going to let them relax. So pull up, and relax. And then big breath in, float the arms up towards the ceiling. Stretch up much as you can, reaching for the ceiling, and relax. Fabulous work, thank you.